Imagine this. You've been waiting for something for years. A clash, so monumental, so historic that it could define an era. You've seen the build-up, the back and forth, the tension simmering just beneath the surface. Every time it felt close, something happened. Politics, money, excuses, fate itself seemed determined to keep it from happening. And now, just when you thought the moment had finally come, a shocking announcement sends everything crashing down. Tyson Fury has retired. But is it real? Or is it just another twist in the most unpredictable saga in boxing? You came here looking for an answer, and I promise you, you're going to get it. But stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you see everything. For over a decade, boxing fans have been asking one question: when will Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua finally fight? And for over a decade, the answer has always been soon. But soon never came. Now, in a move that has sent shockwaves through the sport, Fury has walked away. And yet, the whispers haven't stopped. Behind the scenes, something is brewing. Something that could still make this fight happen. But there's a catch. To understand what's really going on, we need to go back. Back to when the legend of Fury vs. Joshua began. Picture it. The British boxing scene is on fire. Anthony Joshua, the golden boy, the Olympic hero, the unstoppable knockout machine, is storming through the heavyweight division. Every time he steps into the ring, another opponent falls. He's a wrecking ball with gloves, a force of nature. And then there's Tyson Fury, the complete opposite. The showman, the unpredictable mastermind, the man who doesn't just win, he embarrasses his opponents. Where Joshua crushes, Fury outsmarts. Where Joshua is power, Fury is finesse. The contrast is perfect. It's Ali vs. Foreman, speed vs. strength, chess vs. brute force. And the whole world is waiting to see which will prevail. Then, history takes an unexpected turn. Joshua, the unbeatable giant, falls. Not once, but twice. Andy Ruiz shatters his aura of invincibility. And then, just when he's back on top, Alexander Usyk outboxes him not once, but twice. Meanwhile, Fury takes down Deontay Wilder in one of the greatest trilogies in boxing history. He cements himself as the best in the world. And yet, despite all this, despite the endless call-outs, despite the fans screaming for it, Fury and Joshua never meet. Fast forward to today. The heavyweight division is a different landscape. Joshua, once thought to be at the end of his career, comes back with a vengeance. He knocks out Otto Wallin. He stops Francis Ngannou. And suddenly, he looks like the old AJ again. But just as he regains his momentum, disaster strikes. A brutal knockout loss to Daniel Dubois sends shockwaves through the boxing world. And across the ring, watching from the shadows, is Tyson Fury. Fury, too, has been through his own war. His fight with Usyk didn't just cost him his undefeated record, it took something out of him. The man who seemed untouchable had been beaten. And then, in a move that no one saw coming, Fury does what no one expected. He walks away, announces his retirement. Just like that, the dream fight is gone. Or is it? Because here's where things get interesting. Ricky Hatton, a man who knows Fury better than most, isn't convinced. He's seen this before. He knows Fury. He knows his mind games. And he knows one thing: money talks. If the right offer comes, if the stakes are high enough, Fury could come back. And there's only one fight big enough to do it. The fight we've all been waiting for. But there's a problem. Time. Because if there's one thing you can't fight, it's the clock. Both Fury and Joshua are not the men they were 10 years ago. The wars they've been through have left their marks. Their reflexes, their speed, their endurance, none of it is what it once was. And that raises the biggest question of all. If they fight now, would it still be the fight we all dreamed of? Or would it be too late? Hatton believes the fight should still happen. He believes the fans deserve it. He believes both men deserve it. But here's the reality: boxing is a business first. The fight won't happen because fans want it. It will happen if the money is right. And with Saudi Arabia investing heavily in boxing, the money could very well be right. So what happens next? Will Fury stay retired, leaving this fight as nothing more than a fantasy? Or will the temptation, the legacy, the money be too much to resist? Will Joshua, after his crushing loss to Dubois, still be a draw big enough to make it worth Fury's while? These are the questions hanging over the sport. And right now, there are no answers. But here's what I can tell you. Every great story needs an ending. And for Fury and Joshua, the final chapter hasn't been written yet. And when it is, you'll want to be there to see it. Because one way or another, this story isn't over. Not yet. Yet. Picture this. The arena is packed. The energy in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. The world has been waiting for this moment for over a decade. And now, finally, it's happening. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua stand across from each other in the ring, their eyes locked, their entire legacies hanging in the balance. The bell rings. The crowd roars. And in that split second before the first punch is thrown, the only thought running through everyone's mind is, was this fight worth the wait? But let's rewind. Because before we can even get to this moment, before the world can witness the fight that was always meant to be, one thing has to happen. Fury has to come back. And that is far from a certainty. Because here's the truth. Fury doesn't need this fight. Not for money, not for legacy, not for anything. He's already cemented his place in history. He's beaten Vladimir Klitschko. He's conquered Deontay Wilder twice. He's fought and won in some of the biggest heavyweight battles of the modern era. And now, he says he's done. He says he's retired. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Tyson Fury never does what people expect. The man has retired before. After shocking the world by defeating Klitschko in 2015, he walked away from boxing, spiraling into a life of depression, weight gain, and addiction. Everyone thought he was finished. But he wasn't. He came back, he reinvented himself, and he became an even greater fighter than he was before. So, is this retirement any different? There's a reason people aren't buying it. For one, Fury loves the spotlight. He thrives in it. The trash talk, the build-up, the showmanship, it's what fuels him. The idea of sitting on the sidelines, watching Joshua, Usyk, and Dubois fight for titles, watching other heavyweights take over the division that he once ruled. It doesn't fit his personality. And then there's the money. Because no matter how rich you are, $100 million is $100 million. And that's the kind of payday Fury vs. Joshua would generate. The kind of money that even a man who claims he has nothing left to prove can't ignore. So if Fury does come back, if he does lace up the gloves one more time, the only question left is, what happens in the ring? Because as much as we want to believe that these two men will step into that ring as the warriors they once were, reality paints a different picture. Fury isn't the same fighter who dismantled Wilder. The Usyk fights proved that. He's still brilliant, still a master of mind games, still one of the best heavyweights ever, but he's lost a step. And Joshua? The AJ of 2017 would have been a terrifying force in this fight. But now, after the losses, after the doubts, after the devastating KO from Dubois, he's not the same either. Which means that the fight we get, if it happens, won't be the fight we imagined. It won't be two prime heavyweights battling for dominance. It will be two battle-worn legends, two men who have been through wars, fighting for something more than belts or money. They'll be fighting for redemption. And that's where things get interesting. Because sometimes, when two men have everything to lose, when they have nothing left to give except their pride, that's when they produce the greatest fights of their careers. That's when legends are truly made. So maybe, just maybe, if this fight happens, it won't be about who is the best heavyweight of this generation. It won't be about undisputed titles or pound-for-pound rankings. It will be about something even more powerful. It will be about closure. About finally giving the world the answer it's been waiting for. Who was the greatest British heavyweight of this era? The only way to find out is for Fury to say yes. For Joshua to step up one last time. For the two of them to walk into that ring, hear that bell, and settle this once and for all. The question is, will they? The clock is ticking. The world is waiting. And somewhere, deep down, you know this story isn't over yet.